My name is Kajal and I'm in conversation with Terry. Today I want to talk about my experience with mentors. Last year I spoke at the Grace Hopper celebration. The way I ended up talking there is because of a mentor. He encouraged me and that's what I did. I applied and I got accepted and I ended up talking to a room of 400 people. That's when I realized that having mentors, having someone who sees this in you and also pushes you that, hey, you gotta go do this, you gotta try this, don't limit yourself. Things like that will help you. That's also how I ended up meeting Terry. Terry is my mentor at Toastmasters. Terry, why don't you tell us about you?
Sure. Thank you, KJ. I have a short history, but it's interesting enough. I was a Marine for 4 years, in the active duty Marine from 83 to 87. Don't count the years, please. Don't. Once I finished and I got out of the Marines, I went into the medical field where I was working at a medical lab for 10 years. Then once I hit the 10-year mark, I said, hasta la vista, I'm out of here. And I went back and finished my degree, which is in Spanish. Somehow I found my way back here to San Diego, and I joined Qualcomm. And I think about 8 years later, I joined Toastmasters by design because I wanted to get over my own fears of speaking in front of the public. I decided to become a mentor because I see there's so many people just like KJ. They have so much potential, just untapped potential. That, I wanted to be your mentor and help you out. Just figure out what you wanted to do and what goals you wanted to meet.
Thank you. I think I'm very lucky to have you as my mentor. But let's move on. Let's talk about how does one go about finding a mentor? What are some of the best ways to find a mentor?
That's a good question. How did you find a mentor?
I went to this Toastmaster meeting. I heard a lot of people talk and I thought you were the best. So I approached you. I said, hey, you're amazing. Will you mentor me?
Wow. That's pretty cool. I think for anyone to be a mentor, you just have to want to be able to help other people. And looking for a mentor, it's just someone that has some experience, the know-how, maybe connections. In my case, it's more experience and the fact that I like to help other people. That's part of the appeal, and I'm sure that some of that comes across, I hope.
Yeah, no, I think of all the people I've often reached out to be my mentors, they've always said yes. Go ahead, ask whoever you admire or people who you think have a lot of experience in this domain and people who have good connections, and you just go to them and say, hey, will you be my mentor? It's that simple.
I think one of the first things when we met, we were talking about a future speech that you were going to give, and then I just happened to ask, well, what are your goals? You already told me that you're interested in empowering women, and I said, well, what other goals do you have besides speaking at Grace Hopper?
So the first time you meet, it's more likely that your mentor is going to ask you, so what are your goals, what are your interests? That's a conversation that would keep going. And the next question would possibly be,
what's getting in your way of reaching your goals? That's
right.
That's what we talked about. It's like, well, what do you want to do? What's stopping you?
Yeah, and so you can talk about your fear or just your obstacles or something as simple as, I don't know how to do this.
I have to say, only one thing is that it's really what do you want to achieve and what drives you. Not everyone is on the same path or has the same motivation. Just find out what works for you, what you're comfortable with, but definitely push the envelope a little bit. I think that's the only way for us to grow.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent point. Definitely be motivated, be passionate, and know why you're doing it. One other thing I would like to discuss is the other kind of conversation you can have with your mentor are your problems. It could not be related to some specific goals, but your everyday, day-to-day life.
I think that is it's a good resource to have, because I think knowing you better than another person at work, you have a little more objectivity, hopefully. But of course, I've got your back anyway.
Thank you. In conclusion, I just want to say that you can have all kinds of conversation with your mentors, and it just doesn't have to be always about goals and growth, but also just someone to talk to. And who knows what you will learn. I would say the simplest way to find a mentor is just go to someone whom you admire and say, hey, will you be my mentor? That one simple line might get more yeses than you might think. So that's my call to action. Just go out there, find a mentor, and discuss your goals with them and be all that you can be. And thank you, Terry, for joining me.
Thank you for inviting me to speak. Thanks, Kajal.